Today we're going to talk about gauge. Why is it important, what is it, and how you can make your own gauge swatch. As per usual, there is a full article on my blog and I'll give you step by step on how you can make your own gauge swatch. Okay, so let's start. Why is gauge important? When I first started crochet, gauge didn't really matter because I've been making smaller projects such as a crochet granny square or a small amigurumi project that I didn't really need to know what it was. Once I progressed into more advanced crochet, then gauge became important. Why is it important? Because gauge will affect the size of your garment. So it's either going to be three things: too small, just right, or too big. Gauge also has an effect on the fabric of your crochet. It can become too loose or even too tight. Gauge can also affect your amount of yarn. You can either have an abundance of yarn or maybe you get towards the end of your project and you run out. So what is gauge? Gauge is basically a factor of two things: the amount of stitches and the amount of rows over 10 centimeters square. And that's it. And to make a gauge swatch is really easy, and I want to show you next how you can do this step by step. Taking half an hour to make a gauge swatch will result in your item being the right size. And it is so easy to do, and it will save you a lot of heartache along the way. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can make your own gauge swatch. To start, chain the number of stitches written in your gauge and add 5 or 6. For row 1, continue with the stitch indicated in the gauge. So for this example, I'm using double crochet. Continue adding rows until your swatch is 13 to 15 centimeters in height. Now fasten off and weave in your ends. Now your swatch is ready, we need to block it. Place your swatch into a piece of cardboard and pin it evenly around. Once this is done, spray with some water and allow to dry. Once it's dry, remove your pins. Place a ruler on top and measure how many stitches you have over 10 centimeters and then how many rows you have over 10 centimeters. Now you have your gauge. If your gauge is too big, reduce your hook size, and if your gauge is too small, increase it.